You know that feeling when you're staring at a huge goal and you just feel totally overwhelmed? Or maybe it's that long list of tiny, nagging tasks that just keeps growing, creating this constant low-level stress in the back of your mind. Well, what if I told you there's a super simple 2-minute fix for both of those problems? And believe it or not, the story behind it all starts with a moment of just shocking violence. Yeah, you heard that right. Our story doesn't start with some new productivity app or some fancy life hack. It starts with this. James Clear, the author, on the last day of his sophomore year of high school, was hit square in the face with a baseball bat. And that one absolutely devastating moment, it would change everything for him. It sounds crazy, right? But this near-fatal accident is actually the origin story for one of the most powerful productivity rules you'll ever come across. And to really get why it works so well, you first have to understand the incredible hole he had to climb out of. And I'm not exaggerating here. The damage was catastrophic. We're talking multiple skull fractures, 2 shattered eye sockets, and on top of that, post-traumatic seizures. The swelling in his brain got so bad that the doctors had no choice but to put him in a medically induced coma. I mean, he was literally fighting for his life. And just surviving, well, that was only the first step. His road to recovery was painfully slow. I mean, forget about playing sports or having a normal high school life. He was spending months in rehab just to relearn the most basic things, like how to walk in a straight line. The journey back, it must have seemed absolutely impossible. I mean, just look at this transformation. It is remarkable. So year 0, he's in a coma. A year later, he finally gets back on the field, only to get cut from the varsity baseball team. Imagine that. But then something starts to shift. He goes to college and starts focusing on these really, really small habits. And get this, just 6 years after that horrific injury, he's named an academic All-American. So how on earth did he pull that off? Well, that brings us right to the core lesson he learned from this whole ordeal. It wasn't about some heroic, giant leap. No, it was all about the hidden power of starting incredibly, incredibly small. I mean, think about it. When you're relearning how to walk, you can't just decide to go run a marathon, right? The only thing you can do is focus on that very next step. And that right there, that was the big insight. He realized that progress, no matter how tiny it seemed, was still progress. And that idea became the foundation for his entire philosophy. So what he calls these tiny changes are atomic habits. And that name is just perfect because it captures 2 things at once. On one hand, atomic means something tiny, right? A fundamental building block. But on the other hand, atomic also means a source of immense power. It's this idea that a tiny routine can be the building block for something truly remarkable. So what did these so-called atomic habits actually look like in real life? Well, honestly, they weren't glamorous at all. We're talking about stuff like just going to bed early every night, keeping his college dorm room clean and tidy, and lifting weights a few times a week, even when he felt really weak. It was these small, consistent things that started to give him a sense of control and built this rock-solid foundation of discipline. And this is really the key to the whole thing. Those tiny, seemingly unimportant habits, they don't just add up, they compound. It's just like interest in a bank account. At first, the growth is slow, but over time, it becomes exponential. The only catch? You have to be willing to stick with them for the long haul. Okay, that's the philosophy. But how do we apply this start small idea to our own lives, especially when we're just procrastinating on something? Well, that brings us to probably the most practical, actionable tool to come out of this entire way of thinking. It's called the 2-minute rule. Now, it was originally coined by productivity expert David Allen, and the rule itself is just beautifully simple. Here it is. If a task will take you less than 2 minutes to finish, you should do it right now. Don't put it on a list, don't schedule it for later, don't even think about it, just do it. And the logic behind this is just undeniable. I mean, think about it for a second. The amount of mental energy you waste remembering to send that quick email or feeling guilty about that one dish in the sink, it's often way more than the energy it would take to just handle it, right there in the moment. It's like an efficiency hack for your brain. Okay, but the rule isn't just for taking out the trash or sending a quick text. No, it's real power. The part that's a total game changer is when you apply it to your biggest, most intimidating goals. So you can think of the rule as having 2 incredible uses. On one side, Yeah, you use it to just clear out all that mental clutter from those little to-dos. But on the other side, you use it as what he calls a gateway habit. It's a way to trick your brain into starting something that feels massive by lowering the bar so much that it's almost impossible to say no. Okay, let me show you how it works. Let's say your goal is to write a 3,000-word essay. That feels huge, right? Overwhelming. But what's the 2-minute version? Now, the key is it's not write for 2 minutes. The 2-minute version is write the first sentence. That's it. Anyone can write one sentence. And here's the secret sauce. Starting is always the hardest part. Once you've got that first sentence down, writing the second one feels so much easier. And you can apply this to anything. You want to get fit? Forget the 30-minute workout for now. Your 2-minute rule is just put on your workout clothes. You want to clean the house? Don't think about the whole thing. Just wash the one dish you just used. Trying to conquer your inbox? Just unsubscribe from one annoying email. See? Each of these is like a tiny little starting pistol that kicks off a much bigger positive habit. And this is where things get really profound. Because this whole idea, it isn't just about ticking more boxes on your to-do list. It's about fundamentally changing your identity, who you see yourself as. See, every single time you complete one of these tiny little tasks, you create a bit of momentum. It's a small win, and that small win gives you a little hit of accomplishment. And that feeling makes you just a little bit more likely to tackle the next thing. It creates this amazing positive feedback loop where action just leads to more action. But here's the real magic. Every action you take is like casting a vote for the type of person you want to become. So when you actually make your bed, you're casting a vote for I am an organized person. When you put on your running shoes, even if you don't run, you're casting a vote for I am a runner. These tiny wins start to build up a portfolio of evidence that you are that person. So what you're really doing on a deep level is rewiring your brain. You're taking that trigger, that task that needs to get done, and you're slowly replacing your old default response of, I'll do it later, with a new default response of just doing it. You are literally building a habit of taking action. So I want to leave you with this one question. Just for a second, forget about all your huge, ambitious goals. I want you to think smaller, like way smaller. What is one simple 2-minute action you can take right now to cast just a single vote for the future self you want to become?